Ani, it's a great day, and Chief Miigwech for the smudging ceremony put us on a good way. And first off, I wanted to just say thanks, Miigwech, to Garden River and Batchewana First Nation. It's a great day, and Chief Miigwech for the smudging ceremony put us on a good way. Is that what I sound like? So, very much. And so I wanted to acknowledge that we're in the Robinson here on treaty territory. And, you know, I wanted to thank Garden River and Batchewana First Nation for sharing their land with us, as well as the Métis Nation. I'm Terry Sheehan. I'm your Member of Parliament. Chief Bell, very much. You know, it's just wonderful. And again, I continue to grow, I hope, on this path that we're on together. And so I wanted to introduce first the Honorable Minister Yara Sachs. And, you know, we had a great meeting just now on the crisis that's happening in Sault Ste. Marie as it relates to mental health and addictions. And today we're here to, you know, celebrate something very special that Algoma University is leading in this area. And so I wanted to recognize also everybody that is here from Algoma University, staff and students alike. Thank you very much. I also wanted to recognize Mario Turco, if he's here. I don't know if I saw him. He is the Algoma University Chancellor. Rob Bassassi, Algoma University Board of Governor Vice Chair, Nina Toulouse, and Minion Paul, President of Algoma University Student Union. I saw Don Mitchell from the Chamber of Commerce here as well. Mary from SKG, who I just had met with last couple of weeks ago, and everybody else. And I really wanted to thank once again everyone for being here. It wasn't too long ago that I attended here before I was an MP, and that was the time that then Chief Justice Sinclair was coming through with the Truth and Reconciliation. It was at the gathering of the survivors. And some Algoma University student, Indigenous student, asked, where do we begin? What did he say? Education. We have to really, you know, if we want to get on this path of truth and reconciliation, we really have to focus on education as well. So it's good to be here today for this announcement as we continue to try and walk this journey together. I'm Terry Sheehan. I'm an Irish guy. My family name is Sheehan. It means peace. And our bird or animal is a dove. My wife and kids are members of Batchewana First Nation. And it truly is a double honor to be here. So thank you very much. And without further ado, I would like to introduce the minister who is elected in a by-election in 2020. She ran a mental health charity organization. She had a small business. She was a policy advisor for Israel, and a good friend of mine. So thank you ever so much for being here. And Ozma, thank you ever so much for leading this vision, Chief Shinwalk's vision. And thank you everyone for participating and continuing to make sure that we keep Chief Shinwalk's vision alive. And it's truly an honor. Thank you. Chief Miigwech. Minister.
I don't know how I top that. Okay. Yep, there we go. Thank you, Terry, Ani, Miigwech, bonjour. And from the part of the world I come from, which also means peace, I think it's appropriate to say shalom. Thank you for the warm introduction. And I really, such a sincere thanks to Algoma University for hosting all of us here today. This is a really special place with a vision and a legacy, and also really a deep understanding of what it means to build 7 generations forward. And it's not lost on me, the power of that in this place. I'd like to take a moment really to acknowledge where we are. It's important to know who we are, but it's also important to know where we are in the land, in the sacred space of the Anishinaabe, Garden River First Nation, Batchewana First Nation, and Métis people. Thank you for welcoming us here, Chief Bell, Chief Makwa. Land acknowledgements can be by rote or they can be from the heart. And I truly believe as we walk this path of reconciliation together, in moments that are hard, but in moments that are true and authentic, and moments that really come from the heart in building what our future will be together, it's really an opportunity for healing. And I don't take that lightly in my role as the Minister of Mental Health and Addictions, because when the heart is not well, then the land is not well. And when we heal together, we will all be well. In my role as Canada's Minister of Mental Health and Addictions and the Associate Minister of Health, I have, from coast to coast to coast, seen the importance of having culturally appropriate spaces where people feel seen and know where they are and know who they are, so that those spaces provide the care and the services that they need. And it's an integral part to building what will be a stronger and more culturally inclusive and supportive society that we share together. And that's why I was so excited to join Terry and the community here today, because I'm honored to announce that $5 million has been awarded by Heritage Canada's Cultural Spaces Fund to support the construction of the Makwa, I'm not going to say this correctly, I apologize in advance, Waakaa'igan Cultural Center right here in Algoma University. It's a big deal. So what does this mean, $5 million? This funding marks a significant investment in the preservation of local Indigenous history. This will be a new 3-floor facility to replace the current east wing of Algoma University, and will feature spaces for cultural ceremonies, interactive learning, academic teachings, and so much more. It will contribute to respecting, preserving, and archiving the history and significance of the Shingwak residential school site here in Sault Ste. Marie. And this is what it means to heal together. To acknowledge what is hard, to face the trauma that has come with it, generation after generation, and to build together what will be a space of healing, place of storytelling, of remembering, but also moving forward. The design of the building and the surrounding area was developed in partnership with the Children of Shingwak Alumni Association, an organization composed of former residential school students and their families. Both the interior and exterior spaces have been thoroughly planned to honor the historic and ceremonial significance for survivors and local Indigenous communities. I'm the grandchild of Holocaust survivors. I know how important this is, because memory can disappear with our elders, but it can not only be preserved, it can be celebrated and instill the vision of the future generations when it's shared in space where we not only remember, but we build. And that's why our government, in the work that we do, understands that supporting projects like construction of the Makwa Waakaa'igan Cultural Center is truly at the heart of reconciliation. This funding highlights our commitment to truth and reconciliation, as well as ongoing efforts to assist in healing from past trauma related to residential schools across the country. This center will also house a new mental health and addictions research and training institute in partnership with the Northern Ontario School of Medicine. This institute will improve care for patients, families, and communities, just like Sault Ste. Marie, while enhancing interdisciplinary mental illness education and training programs. When we know more, we can heal more. Further, the Institute will expand addictions and mental health research that is informed in treating trauma-related mental health illnesses through cross-cultural approaches, including local Indigenous community wellness initiatives. Today, I had the opportunity to meet with local leadership and various service providers to hear directly about the challenges the Sault Ste. Marie area is facing. Chief Bell, Chief Makwa, all of those who joined us today at the round table, as I mentioned earlier outside, coming together to roll up our sleeves and do the work to face the challenges that this community is facing. It was a matter of showing up here to say to you, you are not alone in doing this work. The federal government is your partner. I am your partner because we are here to save lives. We are here to heal. We are here to see each individual in their value and in their potential and in their future. And we cannot look away. That is the truth of the truth of reconciliation and the path that we walk together, but it's also the path of healing that we have to do in communities. When we step up together, when we partner together to do this work, we know we are building communities that will be stronger and more resilient together. So about this new facility, the construction of it will offer Canadians and visitors from around the world a unique opportunity to participate in cultural events and engage with historical exhibits and teachings of local Indigenous culture. There is so much beauty here. I know the addition that this new cultural space will be a vital and cherished place here at Algoma University, and it will also be important for fostering learning and understanding between local Indigenous peoples and the broader Northern Ontario community. I really look forward to touring the center once it's open, and also touring Algoma University today. And I truly encourage all Canadians to learn more about the rich Indigenous culture in their communities. When we show up, we learn together. Merci, et je voudrais maintenant inviter le président Vézina et dire quelques mots. So if I can ask Ozma Vézina to join me here at the podium, and to all of you, thank you and miigwech.
A minister that speaks from the heart. We felt you and are so grateful that you're joining us today for this incredible announcement. Ani, bonjour, welcome everyone. Wonderful to be with the community today, the university community and the wider community at large. This is a celebratory event. We are getting ready to put the shovel in the ground. It's looming. We've had to wait a long, long time for this moment. And it's through the generosity of the federal government, the provincial government, the community partners that we have, and all of the support that we've garnered in this really, really important work. Thank you, Terry, for your unwavering support of this project. Very, very special place for us to be. I want to acknowledge Chief Karen Bell and Chief Mark McCoy as well for your partnership. From the very onset of their new role in chief, they have been on this university campus over and over and over again. And when we call, they come, but not just to attend, to be part of this beautiful work that we're doing here together with community. So I'm not sure if Rob Battisti was introduced, but I do want to acknowledge the vice chair of the board as well. The board has been very supportive of this project as well. And just to speak a little bit about what's happening with this project, we spoke about the purpose. And we talked about the building, housing, the archives from Canada's residential school history. That is no small thing. Makwa Waakaa'igan will allow researchers to come here from all over the world to examine those archives, to spend time with those archives, to write about those archives to continue the truth-telling work of the survivor community. Makwa Waakaa'igan is a $40 million center of cultural excellence. It will serve as a beacon for sharing Indigenous practices and knowledge. The vision for this National Center of Excellence for the country was envisioned through ceremony. And I want to acknowledge Waakaa'igan, who's with us this morning, who started us in ceremony. Makwa Waakaa'igan is meant to be a home. It's meant to feel a little different than any other university building. Welcoming, inclusive, and inviting. If you look at the back, and maybe Brian, you could bring the pole up to the front just so people can see it. This pole carries the name of Makwa Waakaa'igan. And when we were working with the survivor community, they didn't like the name Center of Excellence. Like, what is a Center of Excellence, right? And we couldn't really answer it, but we had to put this placeholder, Center of Excellence. And so we asked Waakaa'igan to do ceremony for us, and we asked if he could try to find us a name. And it took months and months and months for the name to come. And we would ask him over and over again, do you have a name for us, right? And we were doing everything in ceremony at that time. And the survivors were very, very involved. And one day I got a call, and Waakaa'igan said, we have a name. We'll announce it in ceremony. So the survivors came in, and some of the folks that were working hard on Makwa Waakaa'igan. And this poll came into the ceremony, and it was explained to us that the reason why it was challenging to find a name for Makwa Waakaa'igan, or the Center of Excellence, was because the building didn't exist yet, right? There was no building to name. So this poll is very special, and I don't know if Marcello's here today, but he's been given the task. He's the manager of our plant facilities, and every day he takes the pole outside, and every day he brings the pole back in. And when Makwa Waakaa'igan is built, this pole will stand as a reminder to us about how important ceremony is for all of us, right? And we heard the minister speak about the importance of culture, of ceremony, of sharing our teachings and sharing our knowledge systems, something that many of us have grown apart from. And so what we talk about when we talk about Makwa Waakaa'igan is a place where we will share those wonderful teachings from our cultures, but we will ground that in this place, right? In an Anishinaabe territory. So we will center our knowledge systems on their teachings, and we will respect and honor in a place that did so much harm. So much harm. We now get an opportunity to move forward together. And what an opportunity that can be. And I think when we speak with the elders, and Jackie wasn't able to come today, she's feeling a little bit under the weather, right? Our survivor community is getting older. But when she would speak to us, and when other survivors would speak to us, they would say, we want to get excited about the future. We have to understand the truth for healing to happen, but we also need to be excited for what's coming. And when I think about the work of Mary Wabino McKay on this project, she too focused on the future, right? Ensuring that Makwa Waakaa'igan would teach in different ways, right? Would provide opportunities for Indigenous people and for all people. And so we're excited to be moving forward. I do want to acknowledge the survivor community in this work. They are the true heroes. They had a vision. They've been working on truth-telling for 50 years. Following the ceremony, we're going to actually tour the Shingwauk Indian Residential School, former Shingwauk Indian Residential School, and we're going to showcase the work that they've done on the reclamation of Shingwauk Hall exhibit. And we're going to recommit to this work. So just to give people a sense of what's happening, there's a site search underway right now. And so we have to be really respectful of the site search. And we've delayed the project a couple of times because of that work. And we're very, very supportive of those delays because we've got to get this right. Want to acknowledge Tara and the team from the Site Search Committee and Nordic for all of the work that they're doing. This is very, very difficult work. And although we get impatient at times, say, come on, let's go. We really want to do this in the right way. And I think working with community will do this in the right way. And we will be guided as well through those ceremonies and through the connection with Spirit. So shovel in the ground planned for this fall or in the next 4 to 6 months, depending on what happens. RFP closing in the fall, early fall. And so we'll have our general contractor named. And we've got a lot of folks that are really excited about moving that RFP process forward. So when we talk about, and the minister did a very beautiful job of explaining what Makwa Waakaa'igan is. So I'm going to leave you with a little story. I've shared with you a little bit about that first floor and the second floor and what it's going to do in terms of working with the Shingwauk Residential School Center, the archives, creating beautiful culturally appropriate spaces, welcoming spaces, different feeling rooms than most universities would have, a lot of use of circle, etc. But I also want to talk a little bit about the Mental Health and Addictions Research and Training Institute, and I'll do that fairly quickly because I know we have to move on. But that institute also came from ceremony. And we didn't realize at the time, but the university thought that their response to the calls to action, my thinking at the time, was that our response to the calls to action was to support the reclamation of Shingwauk Hall and that exhibit. And what a beautiful project to be involved in as a university working with survivors, ensuring that this would be a place of truth-telling. And it wasn't until long after that myself and others started to realize that that's not our action and reconciliation. That's a gift from the survivor community, a gift back to us to use that truth to ensure that those kinds of things never happen in Canada again, right? And to learn from that. And as students come, to teach them about that so they can also make connections to what's happening around the world and that they can become change makers. That wasn't our action. I was at a funeral for one of our survivors in Walpole Island. And we were celebrating her life, Susie Jones, for those that knew her, incredible, incredible woman, strong leader. And we were celebrating her life with the community. They live about their family lives about 6 hours from here, as I mentioned, Walpole Island. What happened at that celebration of life is one of the survivors from the Shingwauk Indian Residential School, same age as Susie, came here at the same time. And he started to speak about Susie. And he said, I loved her, right? She was so brave and she showed so much courage. And I always admired that she could come back to the place that had done so much harm. And she could do that work of healing and truth-telling for our people, right? And she would lead these gatherings and do all of this work. And then he said something that I will never forget. He said, at 80 years old, my goal is to get through one night without waking up in a night terror. I didn't realize it at the time, but his teaching, his moment of sharing would impact on where we would go as a university. We think about the impact of trauma on children all over this world and in our community. And Minister, you heard about that today. Our communities are suffering. People are dying. And we need to figure this out because Band-Aids and emergency rooms are not going to cut it. When COVID hit, we published in the paper day after day after day what was going on. We are silent on mental health. We are silent on overdoses, and that needs to stop. We are using non-evidence-based practices, and we are not culturally appropriate in our teaching, in our methodologies for treatment. And so what the idea of the Mental Health Institute, that is one of our actions, right? The idea of the Institute is to make sure that our community has evidence-based practices, that we have faculty and researchers and community engaged together to really problem solve as a full community, and that our graduates from social work and psychology and some of our master's programs that are underway, that they are getting an incredible experience while they're here at Algoma, and that they can connect to the Mental Health and Addictions Research and Training Institute once they're practicing, right? So that's what this is all about. Makwa means bear, right? Bear brings healing to community. Waakaa'igan means place, home, structure. It's a place for healing. Survivors have told the truth. It's their stories that are on our walls. It's their stories that are in our archives. What are we going to do moving forward? So thank you so much for making this a reality for us. We could not have built Makwa Waakaa'igan without that funding. It was absolutely imperative that we were able to receive more funding so we could put that third floor on this important project. I want to thank everybody for listening, for coming today, and for being part of what I know is going to have a tremendous impact on our community, on our province, on our country, and in the world. So again, thank you, Chimigwech, merci, and in my home language, my mother's language, Sikriya.
Well, thank you very much. And what Osmo was referring to, the 5 million was on top of an announcement we made in 2021 via Zoom, because we were still in COVID, and it was 7.1 million. So it brings the federal amount to $12.1 million. And all I can say is I look forward to more opportunities to continue to partner, with Batchewana, with the Garden River, with Algoma, because we're not there yet. But Chimigwich, today is a good day. Thank you.
OK. We're going to begin the question and answer session for media now. Nous allons maintenant commencer la séance de questions et réponses pour les médias. If you have a question, please use this microphone and state your name, media outlet, and who your question is directed to. You may ask one question and one follow-up. OK? No. OK. So there's no questions, so we'll conclude today's event. There are questions? Oh, okay. Pardon?
You're not going to do Scrum separate? This is it?
This is it.
Okay, thank you. Just want to make sure.
It's up, you can direct your question.
They want to do individual scrums, I think.
What would you like to do?
We can do an individual.
You want to do
You want to use TV? Did you want to ask me a question?
I'll wait for the guys. Thanks.
Okay, we'll figure it out then.
OK, this concludes today's event. Anyway, thank you. Ceci conclut l'événement d'aujourd'hui. Merci.
That's it.
You want to talk to them? I think they just want you to probably talk with the camera.
Oh, okay. So we're going to do this individually?
A lot of time to do that.
Yeah.
That's it, there's no
Okay.
questions, so we would like to do a quick group shot.
Okay, and we're going to present the minister with her gift, and we'll ask all the dignitaries to come to the front?
Yes, please.
Okay.